Welcome to the start of a conversation of returning county leadership to the roots of public service, where our leaders listen and advocate for the people over profits. I am Dr. GOSWAMI. I am running for Douglas County Commissioner in District 3. And when I'm elected this May 12th, we're going to continue this conversation because this campaign is all about encouraging, promoting civic engagements with our leaders who, again, represent public service. I want to shout out to my mother and father. Welcome, Umesh and Panay GOSWAMI. They drove in this morning from Northern Illinois, where I grew up. If you want to know where my values come from, values of generosity, forbearance, the other ones are enthusiasm, self-discipline, ethical behavior. They all come from my mother and father. My father is a pediatrician who held a private practice for 30 years in our town, and he still works part-time and covers call at the hospital. My mother is a physical medicine and rehab physician who, when I was in high school, the hospital that she worked at passed her over for promotion, which she did not think was right or just. And so she proceeded to drive 2 hours to the closest hospital and run their department in Peoria, Illinois, and come back and still have home cooked meals for me. And that example is huge for me and really drives a lot of what I'm doing today. So if you want to know where my values of civic engagement and caring about our community come from, we have to go to my lovely wife and partner and confidant, Alexandra GOSWAMI. We met in Chicago, where we both went to school, and then moved to West Virginia, where I was going to medical school, and she went back to school for accounting. She engaged with the community in West Virginia, to where she worked with a team of people to start a community garden. And even when we left West Virginia, she won an award from the city for civic engagement. And when we moved here to Omaha, moved into Gibbard Park, the neighborhood, Alex was the first one that was engaged on the neighborhood board, and has been for the 7 years since we've lived here. She is absolutely an example to me as far as somebody who recognizes the value of determining who we are as human beings, not by what we can consume, but by what we can put out and offer to the world. And so thank you for your kind inspiration, Alex. So like I mentioned, I went to medical school in West Virginia, and part of my education in medical school was absolutely looking beyond the clinic. And when looking at people and their health, looking beyond just the lab tests and imaging tests to the social determinants of their health and well-being. So in West Virginia, they had an obesity crisis when we were there. They also had an opioid epidemic that was going on when we were there. And so part of my training was to, again, look beyond what was going on in the clinic and look what was going on in the community. And so when I moved here to Omaha for residency 7 years ago, I worked at the Crane Florence Clinic for 3 years. And there as well, we trained and practiced looking at the whole patient, not just the disease, but the whole person that was in front of me. And so again, that person is in the context of the whole community. And so one of the highlights of this was when we stepped out of the clinic and went to the Black Family Health Fair that was in the North Omaha High School. And I was able to see, we had it set up with a We Dance, where we had people that was dancing there, and I enjoyed dancing, and hopefully there'll be more of that later on this afternoon. But there were many older black ladies that are above the age of 80 that were doing this we dance with me. And it was awesome and good to see. And so when I look at social determinants of health, it's not only looking at what determines ill health, but what outside of the clinic promotes good health for ladies to be dancing into the age of 80. And so that was an important thing for me to learn during my residency. And so we, Alex and I, we decided that Omaha is our home. And after we decided that, we started looking around in our home and our neighborhood. And noticed that, well, the first apartment that I moved into, that was cheap and reasonable, has been demolished and luxury apartments has come up in its place. The residency hospital that I trained at is now a hospital no longer and is a luxury apartment complex. My neighbors were scared and anxious because they saw that the city that was growing up around them, that the city that was being subsidized by our city leaders, was all geared for high-income earners. And they did not see a place for themselves in the city of the future. And so that's why I started getting involved, getting engaged in neighborhood advocacy. And so that involved a lot of the skills that I developed in the hospital, of listening and advocating for patients, just going out in the community, listening and advocating for neighbors, and taking trips down to City Hall, opposing buildings that I did not think was in the best interest for our community. Also having conversations with many different nonprofit groups that are already working on housing issues before I came onto the scene. And what I found was this, that Omaha has a business as usual. Business as usual is when there is deals done in the back room with the developers prior to the public meetings. And our public meetings are quite a bit of a show. And it's difficult to penetrate that. And there is a constant engagement with our civic leaders where we see that profits are prioritized over people. And even just trying to talk about these things and get engaged, you'll just keep meeting with a lot of brick walls. And so that's what I found was the scene as far as our city leadership. From there, I started learning about Juvenile Justice Center. From our friends at our Omaha, I just started learning about things that are going on in our town. And the Juvenile Justice Center is a plan that has come out, a new plan for locking our children up. That came out a couple years ago. And basically, the county commission board that I'm trying to run and be a part of, 6 of the 7 of this board elected to create a private nonprofit and then appointed themselves onto that public-private nonprofit group. Then proceeded to have limited civic and citizen engagement into the processes of what they're talking about. And within those semi-closed doors, they had conversations about how to lock our black and brown children up. And they did not involve the public voice. They did not involve the voice of people that had been through the Juvenile Justice Center. When asked why they didn't include those people, one of the county commissioners said, "Why would we include them? They aren't objective." And I would respond that the people in that room are absolutely not objective. They were prioritizing the expediency of capital, needing to make more capital, over the children that were going through that facility. And the way that I know this is that only now, 3 months ago, have those children received a part-time mental health care provider through the Juvenile Justice Center. Meanwhile, this is something that those people knew for years, that 70% of the kids that come through that facility are on psychotropic medications, that mental illness is a determinant of why they're ending up there. And the fact that they prioritize having these meetings, making this plan, and making sure that they got their contract before going into the building and talking about what the children needs, demonstrates where the priorities are at. And that is unacceptable to me, and that is not Nebraska nice. So from there, I opened up my eyes to what the county commissioner office is and how it's being practiced here in town. And when I say Douglas County Commissioners, I think most people's minds draw a blank. I didn't know what they do prior to learning about this, and I think you're not supposed to know so much about what's going on there. When we talk about Douglas County Commissioners, the city of Omaha fills Douglas County. And so, Douglas County Commission Board is an administrative board of 7 different commissioners that handles $500 million of taxpayer money that goes to various programming institutions that are within this county. However, Omaha fills this county, so when you hear Douglas County Commission, that should equate to you to Omaha politics. You know, a lot of times we focus on city council and what they're doing, but our property taxes, they come out from this office, the Douglas County Commissioners. And so we should be paying a lot more attention together as a society to what's going on there. Some of the things that have been going on there is that, first of all, there are no term limits for these county commissions. So the average length of time that these commissioners who are running for re-election in this election is 22 years. I do not think that public officials should be just placed and enthroned for 2 decades. And so that's one thing that I've seen that's going on. Next is that along with the property tax increase, they've given themselves a pay raise. And again, that property tax increase was to justify a juvenile jail that included none of us in the conversation. And the last thing is that these county commissioners have twice now proposed closing the public comment period in these meetings. No one's going to these meetings in the first place. They're on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and they're trying to close the public comment. This is absolutely not acceptable. You know, I grew up in the Midwest, and I was taught what an open, engaged democracy is. And they might have learned some of these things out of the coast, but this is Omaha, we don't coast. And we don't practice democracy that doesn't stop that. We practice democracy that's in the open, engaged, multiracial, multi-generational, and that's what I think that's why I'm running, and that's why this campaign has been formed. So the Juvenile Justice Center absolutely opened my eyes to what was going on there and made me pay more attention. But it was only when I found out what was going on at the Douglas County Health Center that I really got off the couch and knew that I had to do something. The Douglas County Health Center is the largest nursing home in the state of Nebraska. It takes care of our sickest and our poorest. And recently in the fall, they had a demented patient escape from a hospital. This patient was found, brought back. The state came to investigate the Douglas County Health Center, and there were a number of delinquencies that they found. They gave the Douglas County Health Center a chance to fix those things, and then they came back and surprise visit. In that time, a second patient a demented patient, had escaped the building, found, and brought back. And none of the delinquencies that were listed had been worked on. The response of our Douglas County Commissioner, who is in charge of the healthcare committee, this is in the newspaper that you can find. This is from the chair, and speaks to the type of leadership that we have that is not engaged with our institutions and cares more about reflexively avoiding playing rather than owning. The county commissioner said, "It is the nature of people to be independent. Somebody walked out of here, these are independent people with a certain amount of freedom. Sometimes these things just happen. For myself, as a physician who works at a hospital, when I had a patient who left my hospital and my administrator said something to that effect where sometimes these things just happen, and took zero ownership over that event, and took zero investigation and introspection into the systems of their institution to see why something like that would happen, that would be absolutely unacceptable to me. In our profession of healthcare, somebody who blames the patient, especially somebody who's demented, is considered an absolute scoundrel. And so that was something that really got me mad and got me out of the couch, off the couch, and into the ring to be able to put my hat in for running on this campaign. And I'll tell you, so one question is, why me? What skills do I bring? And yes, I have trained for 10 years as a physician in terms of listening and advocating for patients, but I'll tell you this, that my profession of medicine as well has been through reform. Doctors from a generation ago, when they looked at patients, they would not expect any engagement from the patient. They presumed that they absolutely knew more about the human body than the patient did themselves. They would not seek to engage the patient in shared informed decision making. However, I'd like to tell you that my training has trained me to practice medicine where I engage the patient in their own health. Just like our leaders should be engaging our citizens with their own goings-on and what's going on in their city. And so those are some of the skills that I bring as a physician and from my training that I want to bring to this office. So where we change business as usual to placing somebody who's in the profession of caring for others and placing that into the central role, and then have business kind of run around that. So that is a lot about me, but I'll tell you that this campaign is absolutely not about me. If you look at our yard signs, heavy debate went into them, but on top, the first line that you'll see on our yard signs is Go Omaha. This campaign is going to be all about civic engagement, and me as a leader, encouraging civic engagement. And we have a ladder, we have some posters in the back there about how our community can get more engaged with the decisions that are happening. This is not happening far away. This is local government. We should be having a voice in the decisions that happen at this level of government. And the fact that we have been, if you want to find out what's going on, there's no way to go. There's nowhere to go. If you want to find out what groups are working on different issues, you don't know where to go. And so I think that our leadership should be decreasing the barriers to civic engagement to participate. And absolutely, that's something that I want to, again, start the conversation in this campaign and continue after I'm elected through the next 4 years. And again, building on this note that it's not just about me and that I've had a wide range of people that have helped me to get to this position. The first first person I wanted to mention is County Commissioner Jim Kavanaugh. He can't be here right now, and he's in Washington, D.C. He's in Washington, D.C. I do have this to say about him that he approached me about running this position, and he said, listen, there's 4 of these positions that are up. There's other candidates that I'm going to highlight in a minute, and if we can have a number of sensible people on this board, we can get effective things done. For example, Jim Kavanaugh, and I just want to highlight the story that can exemplify what change you can expect if you get people that are thoughtful leadership. Douglas County needed a new 911 center. The current 911 center was old, and so they were looking for a new one. Again, developers were right there in the conversation saying, you want a building, we can build you a new building. All you got to do is raise taxes a little bit. Commissioner Kavanaugh said, well, let's just hold on. He looked at other buildings that the county had already owned. He found one that could be refurbished for this purpose. They dug a number of geothermal wells around this building. And they took that building off the grid. So basically they got the new building for the 911 center. It's a vanguard on the environmentally sound building for example for the nation. And it didn't cost taxpayers any additional money. So this is an example of the type of leadership and results that you can expect if you get thoughtful people in this position. So on that note, I would like to highlight other candidates that are here in the audience. First one is Roger Garcia. Roger is District 1. And you want to stand to say some words? Or?
Well, we're not standing right now, but definitely we're candidates of bringing new leadership to the board because it's badly needed, as the thing just outlined. So we're hoping that this will help us get some victory on May 12th, which is pretty soon here. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Roger. Something I look forward to working with. And another candidate is Terrell McKinney, who's running for legislative district number 11.
Like to see, I decided to run because I realized our city and our state needs new leadership that's going to take on new issues with passion that are going to fight for the people. Doing a lot of canvassing lately and just getting out in front of people as much as possible and need your support May 12th so I can get into Lincoln next year. Thank you.
So, welcome again to this campaign. To start a conversation that we want to continue through May 12th and into the next 4 years. This campaign does not happen alone. We need your help. If you're interested in volunteering, please sign up. Volunteers are needed for helping us canvass these neighborhoods and knock on doors and have these conversations. Also volunteers for, I need help on a parade for March 14th, and I need people to walk and dance down the street with me. The other thing is that if you could like my Facebook, which is, we have a social media presence that I think if you @GOSWAMI, you'll find the page, and like and share everything that you see. It'll be splendid. And of course, this is a political campaign. Political campaigns run on Monday. And as far as money, I asked how much is this campaign going to run. The primary is $50,000 to $60,000 for a campaign. And I'm putting a fair amount of money into it, but it's not just about needing that money, but the people that are part of this campaign, even if you give $5, $10, something or anything to demonstrate that in America we demonstrate that we care and value things like giving money. And so, if you like hearing the things that you're hearing me talk about, and you want our leadership to continue talking about that, sign in, you can show that it's just by giving whatever dollars that you can spare. And on that note, I have to say that from tomorrow or Tuesday, 10 weeks to May 12th, is where the whole election and all this goes down. And I'd love your all support. Thank you all so much for being here. Go Omaha, go GOSWAMI.